Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
It's Wednesday, and all of our guests today are brought to you by our title sponsor, Able Auctions, ableauctions.ca. Luke Schenn played a total of 26 games with the Leafs, total. Regular season and playoffs at the end of last season after being acquired from Vancouver. 33 years old, 15 NHL seasons, scheduled to become an unrestricted free agent in July. He's 33 years old, and he joins us now. Luke, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you guys? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem at all. We're doing well. Hey, it's been almost 2 weeks since the Leafs were eliminated in the postseason. Luke, what have you been up to since then?
Hung around Toronto for just the last, about a week after the season ended, and kind of got organized there and got the family moved back. And we're actually in Vancouver here just for about a week and a half. Put the kids back in school for a little while. We got to pack up the place here, and then off to Kelowna for the summer. So it's a little bit of an earlier exit and a longer summer than you would have anticipated. But it's nice to be back in Vancouver here for a little bit too.
Hey, Luke, Leafs get knocked off by Florida. Florida within one win of making it to the Stanley Cup Final, up 3-0 on Carolina. What do the Panthers do well, Luke?
Well, you know what? I mean, I don't know. I feel like, obviously I've been following a lot of the headlines and watching the games. And to me, I don't know if they get enough credit. Like everyone, thinks they did sneak into the playoffs, but people forget they won the President's Trophy last year, and they made a trade that made them better, right? So obviously they had their ups and downs in the season, had some injuries, but they got a lot of players that you don't hear a lot of in Canada or out west in particular. I guess guys like who I played with, Carter Verhaeghe scored 40 goals, or Sam Reinhart, who's obviously a Vancouver guy, and you talk about Tkachuk, but their D's playing extremely well too. Big heavy D-core. Mark Stahl and Gudis, and obviously Montour, Forsling, guys like that. But, they're getting goaltending right now like I don't think we've seen in a long time. I was talking, with a teammate the other day. In hindsight, you're looking back, and they're getting goaltending that you maybe haven't seen since I just growing up watching. Like, I remember Jaguar, I think it was in 2003 when he was at Anaheim. That's probably the last guy I saw, roll through the playoffs like this. So, I mean, they're obviously playing a great team game, and they're a hard team to play. They play the right way. They're really hard on the forecheck, and good beneath the goal line and behind the net. They make a lot of plays. So yeah, they're a strong team. Give them credit, and obviously goaltending is a huge factor.
Luke, you just dated yourself there, remembering J.S. Jaguar. Good on you. We get accused of being old men all the time.
I appreciate that.
Oh, no, I just love it. I love it. Hey, you averaged over 17 minutes of ice time in the playoffs with the Leafs, and you combine that with what you did in Vancouver, which everybody was impressed with. Are you playing the best hockey of your career right now?
Well, you know what? I mean, it's part of my mindset. Honestly, the last 4 or 5 years, I've been working at it towards, just getting better with age. And like, I think it's been kind of documented. I've, been working with Adam Oates the last 4 or 5 years, and just kind of, I don't want to say, you had to change your game or reinvent your game, but just kind of evolve as the game's changed. And, just try to figure out different ways to move the puck and break the puck out. And, obviously there's a lot of speed involved in today's game, but, maybe if you think the game in different ways where you're not, in foot races every single shift, and, just different ways of dissecting the game a little bit, and putting a lot of work in. And, I said this kind of at the end of the year, maybe there's, 95% of the league or players in the league that decline after the age of 30, and there's 5% who get better. Well, my mindset is to try to be in that 5%, and obviously really enjoying it. It's been fun. My career's been a lot of ups and downs, and at the end of the day, it's all kind of worked itself out. So really enjoying it, and I don't know about best hockey in my career, but I'm definitely trying to improve with age, and always something to work on.
Luke, you said something there, and you're not the first player to say this on our show. What does Adam Oates do for you?
Well, I mean, I could go on forever. First of all, I don't think I'd be in the NHL without him, and that's truthfully speaking. I mean, when I first started talking to him, I was in San Diego, and I actually just got traded, or I was about to get traded, and I had to start in Utica. And I actually called Ryan Johnson and Trent Call when I first got there, and I said, hey, can I bring Adam Oates in here and skate, before and after, the Utica Comets practices with Oates if I bring him in. And they were nice enough to let him in there, and ever since then I've been working with him. But I think just a lot of things, not to get too nerdy or detailed, but one of the things that he taught me was, in his mind, one of the hardest play in hockey is, a D-man going back for a puck, like off a dump in or retrieval, because you're taking in all this information. It's, first of all, is the puck spinning or is it rolling? And like, is your goalie in the net? Where's your partner? Is your centerman there? Their forecheckers on you trying to, eliminate you, and, you got to protect yourself. And where's their F2 and F3? There's all the stuff you're taking in, and while protecting yourself. And at the end of the day, if you move the puck 5 to 10 feet and break the guys out, then, that's kind of puck moving, right? And everyone's looking for a puck moving defenseman. And in reality, there's probably only 20 to 25 of them in the NHL, guys who can, like your Quinn Hugheses or Morgan Rileys or Makars, where guys actually physically skate the puck out and, can exit with their feet. But the rest of the guys, you got to move the puck 5 to 10 feet and put it on the tape and go from there. So he just kind of changed my mentality. I think a lot of the stuff early on in my career, I was always kind of taught to not handle the puck and, throw it off the glass or just get it out of the zone and live to fight another day, where, he kind of, taught me where, no, we got to work on this. You got to move the puck. And, that's just one thing amongst others. But, he's got a wide range of guys from, the Kucherovs to Eichels, McDavids of the world. And that was one of the first questions when I started working with them. Like, well, what are you going to do with me when I hear you got these guys? And there's something for every guy. And he's been excellent for me. And I know, Horvat had a lot of success with them, and Connor Garland uses them. So he's good, and thankful to get the opportunity to work with him.
Luke, take us back to the NHL trade deadline. It was a very tough decision by the Canucks. There was a lot of people that didn't want to move you. You wanted to stay as well. How tough of a time was that? Your wife was expecting any day around the trade deadline. How tough of a time was that?
Yeah, you know what? It was obviously just the timing of everything. When you're going into the trade deadline, you're obviously selfishly thinking, well, what would be the best fit and best situation, and who has the best chance of winning. There's all these factors that go into the on ice, but then when you factor in your family, and we had 2 kids and then one on the way, so and she was due literally, I think it was 5 days after the deadline. So yeah, there was a lot of stress going into that. Just obviously, you can't pick up the family and move, but I think everything was handled as good as it could be. Obviously, talking to Patrick and Jim going into it, they were aware of the situation, and I'm sure on their end, if they were going to trade me along, I'm sure they would have liked it to happen sooner. But at the end of the day, you can't always force those things. And on Toronto's end, I couldn't have gone to a better spot as far as my family getting taken care of. Kyle Dubas is unbelievable, and helping making sure everyone was taken care of, and their assistance to just make sure everything was lined up, and it kind of really took the stress off things. So at the end of the day, I'm grateful for my time in Vancouver, and I said stressful situation in the moment, but at the end, typically everything works itself out.
All right, here's $1 million question, Luke. You're a UFA. If you don't sign in Toronto, and if you hit July 1st, is Vancouver on your list of teams that you would love to sign with?
I knew that question was coming. I was prepared for it coming into the call. I figured I'd be asked for it. No, but I just, like I said, I've always enjoyed my time in Vancouver. Obviously that's why I signed there the second time, right? Is because I enjoyed it that much the first time, and obviously passionate fan base. And I thought I've always been treated really, really fairly by the fan base, by the media, and the organization's great. But in saying that, I have no idea. I mean, first of all, I'm sure they've got their own plans of what they need to accomplish, and I think they've always talked about getting cap space and getting younger, and the right side, they got Bear, and they traded for Hronik and everything too. So I'm first of all, I love my time in Toronto as well too. So that's who I'm under contract with for the next little bit. But looking back in my career, I definitely, had some great memories in Vancouver, and it's always been a special place to me. Being a Kelowna guy in the summertime and following the Canucks, and being at the team in BC where everyone follows. It's been a special place, but who the heck knows what their plans are? And obviously, I like I said, I really enjoyed things in Toronto, and we'll see where that shakes itself out first.
Is there an NHL player who isn't a Kelowna guy in the summer, Luke? Do you know anybody? All you guys are hanging out there.
You know what? About 10 years ago, I always say this, we would have had a team that, if you would have put that Kelowna summer team in the playoffs, I think we would have won the cup every year, because you looked at, and now everyone's retired. So you had guys like, Heatley and Getzlaff and Weber and, Carey Price and Seabrook and Duncan Keith and all these guys, Andrew Ladd, and the list goes on. And all of a sudden, we're finding ourselves here a little bit shorthanded. So a lot of guys are hanging out there in retired life now. So things have changed a little bit in Kelowna. There's still, a handful of guys, but nothing like it once was.
Hey, Luke, you mentioned Kyle Dubas and how well you were treated by him during your second go-around with the Leafs. Are you surprised things didn't work out for him in Toronto?
I mean, obviously everyone knew going into the end there that his contract is up. I don't think that was, any secret in terms of, what the media knew about it, and obviously people within the organization. So, yeah, at the end of the day, business is business, and obviously we're not in on what goes on behind the scenes, but, obviously I think, like I said, I was grateful for how I was treated personally, and I think, after the trade deadline, he put a good team on the ice, and if you would have looked at our roster compared to anyone's, you would have put ours up against anyone. So yeah, I think obviously he did a good job, and but then in saying that, the business side is sometimes it gets in the way from a player standpoint, a coach's standpoint, management standpoint. There's always the hockey side of things, and there's the business side of things. So obviously that didn't work itself out, and well, who knows where it'll end up, but obviously, Brendan Shanahan has been around the NHL for a long time too, and has a very smart hockey man and knows what he's doing. And, obviously I just hope it works out for everyone involved. And at the end of the day, everyone's really good people and understands the game and how to treat people. And, it's a good culture there. And I think at the end of the day, look back, and hopefully it works out for everyone.
3 young kids now. You're going to have a busy summer, Luke, on top of the UFA decision.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
exactly. I know. Yeah, it's crazy how times have changed in the summertime. It used to be a little bit different. Now I think it's probably go to bed early because you're waking up at 6 in the morning to chase kids around. So, yeah, summers have changed and it's changed. But, it's I always remember, guys earlier on in my career, and I date myself again, but, when I played with guys like Francois Beauchemin and Nick Antropoff and Curtis Joseph, guys like that, they're always brought their kids in the room after games or, like a big win or, the odd practice. And I thought, wow, if I could ever do that down the road, if I'm ever, able to hang on long enough in the NHL to do that, it'd be a pretty cool experience for your kids to remember that. And here I am. I'm the older guy with the kids, and it's crazy how it comes full circle.
And, man, time flies, but I've got 3 kids. You won't believe how fast it flies. I don't have to tell you that, Luke. This has been great. We'll get you back on. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
You bet. Luke Schenn.